My name is Ryan Burnell, and I am the Chief Investment Officer for Blueprint Investments and Tax Planning. And the webinar today is going to discuss how tax professionals can offer investment advisory services to their clients without any additional licensing or costs to you, without changing your business practice or model at all. You can actually partner with our firm in offering investment advisory services to your clients and be compensated in doing so. So we're going to talk about that opportunity for you today. A little bit about our firm. We have over 16 years of experience providing retirement planning and investment management services to clients. We're an advisory firm. We are not a broker-dealer or a custodian. We're what's called a registered investment advisor, and we're registered with the state of California. We custody our client accounts and their assets at Interactive Brokers or LPL Financial. So those two firms are broker-dealers, or what we call custodians, and they actually hold the securities and assets for our clients. We don't have any custody of client assets here at our firm. We provide financial planning services such as portfolio management, or what might be called asset management. The tax professionals affiliated with our firm obviously prepare tax returns and do tax planning and filing of those returns for their clients. As a retirement planning and advisory firm, we'll do complete financial planning along with retirement income analysis, what we call our Blueprint retirement path. So if someone is planning for retirement, preparing to go into it, and then managing their assets through retirement, our planning process helps them do that, helps them determine whether they have enough money to retire, what their income would look like in retirement, the probabilities of success of not outliving their money through retirement. We do all of that planning process with our clients. For those clients still working and who have a 401k plan or a 457 or 403b or some type of employer sponsored plan, we'll help them with their asset allocation along the way. We can either manage those assets or simply see them on our financial planning system and counsel clients about how they ought to be invested in order to achieve their objectives and have a portfolio that matches their own risk tolerances. And then, of course, we do educational workshops and seminars like this webinar today, and we'll provide educational newsletters and information to our clients and the reps affiliated with our firm. And the point of today's webinar is to talk about how our firm has really a turnkey investment advisory platform for tax professionals. So as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to modify your business model at all. You don't have to take on an additional amount of work if you don't want to, and you don't need any additional licenses. You can simply begin offering investment advisory services to your clients and be compensated for doing so just right out of the gate by partnering with us, a registered investment advisor. Here's a little bit of what we'll look at today, the itinerary. We'll talk about what a registered investment advisor is and what an investment advisor representative is. We'll look at how to offer investments to clients, and then flexible service options or service models that we've created here at our firm to essentially provide tax professionals a service model that fits and works for their current practice. So you can affiliate with us in a capacity that suits your business. We'll also look at investment planning processes here at our firm. So if you're thinking about, okay, you might like to affiliate with us, you kind of know how we do business a little bit there. And we'll talk certainly about compensation, how you can be compensated, and then any additional benefits that exist to using our firm rather than affiliating with someone else. So a registered investment advisor is regulated by the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, not the Securities Act of 1933, which regulates broker-dealers and stock exchanges, for example. An RIA either registers with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, or their state that their principal office is located in. If they have more than 5 clients in a particular state, the RIA will have to register in that state as well. And then there are a couple of states who have lesser requirements for registration in them. An RIA provides investment advice for a fee, generally called an asset management fee, um, rather than for commissions. So we don't sell securities for commissions like a broker-dealer does. Um, so a little bit of a difference here is our firm, as an advisory firm, solely provides advice for clients for a management fee. And con, con, well, you can contrast that with a wirehouse, for example, like a Merrill Lynch or an Edward Jones, who is a broker-dealer, and they are selling securities to clients for a commission. It could be a stock commission, typically mutual funds that pay commissions, or a variable annuity that pays commissions, something like that. Now, broker dealers can also register as RIAs. So they have gotten into the space where they also offer advisory accounts for a management fee. So you can find individuals at wirehouses who also do advisory accounts and also sell securities for commissions. Our firm is just an advisory firm, so we don't sell securities for commissions, and consequently, that conflict of interest does not exist when you're dealing with a pure RIA. Again, we're regulated by the SEC or the state, not by FINRA. FINRA is the self-regulatory body that broker-dealers are regulated under. So that does not apply to an RIA. We're held to a fiduciary standard, meaning we must act in our client's best interest. The clients hire us on a discretionary basis to manage their accounts, and they pay us that advisory fee for doing so. And consequently, we must act in their best interest. We're held to that standard by the Investment Advisors Act of 1940. Conversely, a broker-dealer who sells securities for commissions is not held to that standard because their clients essentially direct the investments. All right. Now, to be an RIA, an advisor needs to have the Series 65 license, or one of these designations that will exempt the advisor from needing the Series 65. So you could be a chartered financial analyst or certified financial planner, or a chartered financial consultant, or certified insurance counselor, or the PFS designation. Any one of those will exempt you from the Series 65 requirement if you want to become an RIA. Keep in mind, an RIA is a firm, so it's a firm level registration. Now let's talk about if you were a representative for an RIA. You'd be considered an investment advisor representative. The RIA is called an investment advisor, and you would be an IAR, a representative of that investment advisor. So this is on the individual level affiliated with an RIA firm. You're registered with the RIA. Now you can be a solicitor of an RIA without any licensing. So that's the case with the SEC and in most states, certainly in the state of California where we're located. The solicitor simply cannot provide investment advice unless they have licensing or one of those designations that exempts you from the licensing. So if you want to provide the investment advice, you do need the Series 65 or one of these 5 designations here. However, you don't need either the license or a designation if you simply want to refer clients to an RIA as a solicitor, and you can be compensated for doing so. Of course, in that situation, the RIA is then providing the investment advice. And so you kind of step back from that, unless if you want to provide that, you need the licensing or one of those designations. Again, the IAR, the rep in this case, is regulated by either the SEC or the state that the firm is registered with, and you're not coming under FINRA jurisdiction. You're held to a fiduciary standard, must act in your client's best interest. You can also do insurance and annuity business if you are life and health licensed in the state of California or another state. You can do that business directly with the insurance company. All right. So if you have that license, that just goes on as business as usual. It really doesn't have anything to do with the RIA. You just are an independent insurance agent. Now, in affiliating with our firm, we charge no costs. There is a small registration fee with the state of California to register you as an IAR and or a solicitor with our firm. And we'll pick up that fee so long as you're doing business with our firm. That won't cost you anything. Now, I want to give you a little bit of the idea or a little bit of information about how being an IAR of an RIA is different than being a registered representative of a broker-dealer. Some of you watching this webinar may be registered representatives with a BD. You might have a Series 7 or Series 6 license in addition to probably the 63 so that you're blue skied in all 50 states. That being the case, you fall under FINRA's regulation. You're regulated by the self-regulatory body of the broker-dealer, FINRA, and with that comes all sorts of compliance costs and headaches. um, if you're currently a registered rep, you can also be an IAR of our RIA and do your advisory business with our firm. Now, the advantage to doing that is a higher payout and probably less compliance headaches. So if you are registered with an outside RIA like our firm and you're also maintaining a registered rep status with your current broker dealer or with a new broker dealer, if that's the case, you would be considered what's called a hybrid rep, dual registration. Um, in order to use an outside RIA like our firm, you would need to be with an RIA-friendly broker-dealer. So what do we mean by RIA-friendly? Well, it could be a couple examples. HD Vest will not let you be an investment advisor rep of an outside RIA. Now, they'll let you be an advisory rep with their corporate RIA, but not with an outside RIA. So you have to do your advisory business with HD Vest's RIA platform, okay, their corporate RIA. So you can't essentially leave the firm at all. Some RIA-friendly broker dealers would include LPL Financial, who we custody some assets with. You can do your advisory business away from LPL at your own RIA. Another firm is PKS, Investments, Concord Investment Services. So those are three RIA-friendly broker dealers that, if you want to do your advisory business with an outside RIA, you might look at one of those three, and you can follow up with me if you'd like to know the reasons why there's not just one and why we kind of look at three. There are pros and cons to each of those three if you were going to choose one of them as your RIA-friendly broker dealer. So if you're with HD Vest and you want to do your advisory business away from HD, you'd have to change broker dealers. Okay. Of course, there's a lot of pluses to that. Your payout will go up substantially, for example. All right, all advisory business done through the RIA. Okay, if you're a hybrid rep, here's what we're making in this, what we're pointing out in this fourth bullet point is that if you're a hybrid rep, all your advisory business is done through the RIA while your brokerage and commission business continues to get done through your broker dealer. So you might hear us refer to this as a brokerage platform and an advisory platform. Your RIA is your advisory platform, your brokerage platform is your broker dealer. If you're going to sell commission mutual funds like A shares or C shares or variable annuities that are commissionable, or perhaps life insurance that you run through your broker dealer's grid, that's all done on the BD side. And you continue to be regulated by FINRA. If you're a registered rep, even as a hybrid rep, FINRA has some regulatory authority over you. When you do brokerage business, you're not held to a fiduciary standard because those are client-directed investments, as I mentioned earlier. When you do advisory business, you are held to a fiduciary standard. So a hybrid rep kind of straddles both of those arenas, you might say. If you're not a hybrid rep and you're solely just a registered rep of your broker-dealer, then you're not held to a fiduciary standard in any capacity. Insurance business, like I mentioned, oftentimes is done through the broker dealer if you're a registered rep, and it's subject to their commission grid and override. If you are affiliated with an outside RIA, we generally, there's just no reason you need to do that insurance business on the broker dealer's grid any longer. You can just go directly to the insurance company and do that insurance business direct with them and get full payout. Of course, registered reps come with a lot of licensing, technology, and insurance costs. Typically ranges $6,000 to $8,000 a year when you add in the $4,000 for errors and omissions insurance, and then affiliation fees and FINRA registration fees, branch registration fees, licensing. It all adds up to about that $6,000 to $8,000 a year of costs. That all goes away if you're not a registered rep. If you want to drop your registered rep status and just do advisory business, which quite frankly is the direction the industry is going. Um, Commissionable business is becoming an older and older dinosaur each year as time passes. So if you're kind of done with that and all your new business is going to be advisory anyway, you may think about even just dropping your Series 7 or 6 license in your broker-dealer affiliation and just go RIA only. That's a decision I made a couple years ago because it just makes financial sense if you're not going to do commission business anymore. Um, and like I said, that's the direction the industry is going. So it gives you a little idea about what an RIA is as a firm, what an IAR is as a rep of an advisory firm, and then how that contrasts with what a registered representative is. Some of you may be registered reps already. Some of you may have looked at doing investment business in your tax practice in years past, and you said, "Phooey with that because of the licensing and all these costs," and you thought, that's just too much hassle. Well, I'm here with the good news that you do not have to be a registered rep in order to offer investment services to your clients. So you can, dispel with those notions and the negative things associated with becoming an investment representative. You can do it very, very easily and at no cost. So how to offer investments easily and at no cost, right? Well, simply become an IAR of a registered investment advisory firm. If you don't want to do any licensing or don't have one of those designations, simply become a solicitor. You don't need the licensing, and you can solicit for an RIA, and it just essentially amounts to referring clients to the RIA, and you get a share of the advisory fee revenue for doing so. My counsel is choose an RIA that will partner with you in the capacity that you desire. And this is really important because you have a tax practice to run, right? And that's extremely demanding January through April. So you're busy already. So choose an RIA that can give you a service model that will match your practice and what you need. Also one that will train you rather than simply sign you up and say, great, you're signed up, now figure it out on your own. Choose a firm that will train you and essentially walk right alongside you with everything that needs to be done. You may also want a firm that will handle the asset management for you. Certainly, if you're not licensed, that's going to be a requirement if you don't have the 65. If you do have the 65, perhaps you simply don't want to do the asset management because of the time consumption of becoming an expert in that field. So partner with a firm like ours, where myself, as the Chief Investment Officer, I hold the Chartered Financial Analyst designation, the CFA charter, and that really is the gold standard in the asset management industry. You'll find that designation held by mutual fund managers, pension fund managers, hedge fund managers, those managing portfolios for insurance companies and banks. So asset management is my specialization, and it is our specialization as a firm, even to the point where it's a tremendous reason why we've selected the two custodians that we have, Interactive Brokers and LPL Financial. Choose an RIA that will also partner with you in marketing. If you do events for clients, want to host webinars, things like that, we'll partner with you in doing those events and getting information across to your clients about the offerings that you now have, and even help you with the cost of doing that. So we'll really become a partner with you in that sense as well. And then from a compliance standpoint, join a firm that's been in the industry a long time, is very familiar with all of the areas of compliance in the business. I have been in on all sides of this industry with the various broker dealers and been a hybrid rep and been a full RIA. And so I know the compliance environment in every circumstance that you might find yourself in. we have familiarity with that and can guide you and make sure that everything we're doing is compliant with current regulations. Also, we have a compliance consultancy firm on retainer, and we just pay them as we um, need each year to make sure that we are compliant with current regulations as they change. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about the service options at our firm. I mentioned that in partnering with an RIA, you want to check um, how they're going to serve you as the tax practitioner and how you can partner with them and have a model that is appropriate for your practice. So we've designed three service options. And the first one is simply where you refer your client to our RIA and then you're done. That's it. You just simply refer. We call that the referral only service model. And with that, you, the tax professional, refers to us. We then handle all asset management and all client service. You still can view and monitor accounts and consult with our firm, of course, if you like. So this is a really important benefit to partnering with our firm to offer investment advisory services is that you get to stay in the loop and know everything that's going on in your client accounts should you want to. So much like an administrative assistant, an admin person would have access to look at client account statements and see the investments and see cost basis and gains and losses and um, get that type of information, you retain access to that. And that's very different than if you simply refer your clients to another financial advisor, and then you lose control of the situation at that point, right? And most of you are probably in that situation where you might have an advisor or two that you're friends with, and you'll give their business card to clients of yours who need some help with investing, and then that client goes off and does, whatever the financial advisor recommends, and you kind of don't see what goes on any longer, and you lose control and access and involvement there. And sometimes that can lead to difficulty come tax season the next year, right? When you think, well, geez, why was this done? Boy, that looks like a mistake from a tax standpoint, and you wish you'd had some involvement and oversight in the year prior to maybe perhaps keep those mistakes from happening. So you get that with our firm. You get that type of oversight and monitoring and involvement if you want it to stay involved with your clients and have your finger on the pulse of what's going on there in their investment accounts. So that's available to you simply with the referral model right there. Now, if you want to handle the client service, you can refer the client to our firm and then also handle the client servicing, essentially that administrative support, right? Um, Admin assistants of advisory firms do not have to have any licenses. They simply are administrative personnel, and you can be that as well. So if you want to handle the client services, fielding the phone calls regarding the investment accounts, generating account statements when clients call up and want one. When a client calls up and wants to withdraw a distribution from the account or to make a deposit or they need help linking their bank account to their investment account. You can help with all of that servicing if you would like to take that on. Um, of course, you get compensated for that. So if we're not having to handle that workload and you're handling it, then there's a trade-off there for compensation. So we'll talk compensation next. But in this service model number 2 here, you refer to our firm and then you handle all that client service that I just kind of described. You again can view, monitor the accounts and consult with us about them. But in addition to just that oversight, you also can service them. So that's the difference here in model number 2. We continue to handle all the asset management in this model. Um, Now for service models 1 and 2, you do not need any licensing or any credentials in order to participate in either of those models. If you do have licensing or the credentials, you can still choose simply to participate in one of these two models because maybe it fits the workload that you want, or maybe you feel inadequate on the asset management side, and so you don't really want to go to service model number 3. We have several reps who, they are licensed, but they just don't feel they're busy enough as a tax expert, so they don't feel confident in being the sole asset manager for the client accounts. So they've chosen service models 1 or 2. Now, if you do want to provide the full gamut of services to your client, that's available to you if you're licensed or have one of the designations that exempts you from licensing. So that's service model number 3. Here you refer the client, you handle all the client service, and you handle the asset management. You can view, monitor, and service the accounts and consult with our firm, just like in model number 2 there. And our firm simply provides the RIA platform, the licensing that goes along with that, the expense and compliance oversight, and as well as the contracts with the custodians. And then we also provide the training to you. We will provide some research as to what we're doing and thinking on the investment space and arena, and then the general compliance oversight as well. So that's our contribution in that full service model. This service model number 3 is essentially what's offered to you when you join up with an investment firm like HD Vest. That's a broker dealer. Here, you've got to do everything. Sure, that HD Vest is there for support and some administrative platform support. So similarly, that's kind of our role, is we're kind of the back office firm with the access and training and support for you and research, compliance, that kind of thing. But then you handle everything, the asset management, the client service, just like you would if you were joining HD Vest or something. Of course, in our model, though, you don't have all of the fees of a broker dealer. And you'll have a much higher payout than a firm like HD Vest. So that gives you an idea of the 3 service models you can choose at our firm. Let's give you an idea of what the processes are then if you're with our firm. And so you kind of see how things would get done if you were affiliated with us. So first, of course, you're going to have a client consultation. This is where you're making a determination of whether you should refer them for investment advisory services or not. They have some need you see, and you're going to refer them. We'll partner with you right there if you would like in the consultation process. Either I'll come in physically in an in-person meeting if desired, or we'll do something online where I'm available there on the computer via video and able to answer any questions as you go through the meeting with the client. And essentially making myself and our firm available to you as support in that client consultation. So you don't have to be the expert on what we can provide and how we can help the client, but you essentially can be the quarterback, if you like, knowing that something needs to be done, and then you bring us in to partner with you on identifying how best to accomplish meeting the client's needs. If the client then decides, yeah, this is a good solution, we want to come on board with Blueprint Investments and Tax Planning as our investment advisory firm, we begin the onboarding process, and that's opening the accounts, funding the account through either checks or wire or transfer of assets. As we account open and we know the person is becoming a client, we'll then go through risk profiling. We use a software called Riskalyze, where we'll determine the client's risk number. It's a measure of their risk tolerance, essentially. And we'll also compare that to their current portfolio's risk number, if applicable. And oftentimes we'll find a mismatch there. Somebody may come back with a risk number of 40, only to find out that their portfolio has a risk number of 70, and there's a mismatch, and there's something that needs to be addressed in their asset management to get the portfolio in line with their actual tolerances and objectives. If they want to do some financial planning, we will use our software called Advisor to begin the financial planning process with them. They can not only have their accounts with our firm showing up in the plan, but we can link outside accounts, assets at other various firms. We can link those right into the plan and get a very good picture of the entire portfolio for the client, and then incorporate that in the planning process. Further down the process, of course, once the accounts are funded and we have a plan in place and we know the client's risk tolerance and objectives, we begin investing the assets accordingly, right? We'll allocate them to various securities and models that we have here at the firm. Then we'll monitor and evaluate the client's portfolio as well as the financial markets. And as the financial markets change, portfolios get adjusted, of course. Very importantly, though, the next item here on the list is we'll monitor the client's risk number in our annual reviews and as we review their financial plan to ensure that their portfolio remains appropriate for them. And this really gets overlooked at most firms, particularly at wirehouses, in that in client reviews, the risk profile of a client is never really addressed. It's kind of like, well, what's happened in your life to change you financially? But the advisors generally don't have a discussion about what has changed with you emotionally and your um, tolerance for risk. So we're adamant about revisiting the risk-aligned profile with clients and seeing if their risk number has changed at all as the circumstances in their lives have changed. And that way we can make sure that the portfolio is adjusted to continue to be appropriate for them. Lastly, if you need a client relationship management service, we use Redtail here. That's available to our reps at no cost. So you can just plug right in there, plug your clients in, and have a very, very good, useful CRM tool for your financial practice and tax practice. Okay, compensation. Again, how do you get compensated without being licensed and all of this? You refer or bring clients to an RIA as a solicitor, and the law allows you to be compensated for that so long as we have a solicitor's agreement in writing and have a couple other compliance things in place, which we of course do as a firm. We have the three payout structures according to the service model that suits you. If you're simply referring to us and then we handle everything, that's a 40% payout of the gross advisory fees. So if a client's being charged, 1%, you're going to receive 0.4%, and our firm would receive 0.6%. There are no costs or expenses to you in doing that. If you want to handle the client service, again, no license necessary to be in this service model, you receive a 60% payout of the gross advisory fees. So we essentially flip that around and you get the 60 and our firm gets the 40% payout in service model 2 because now you're taking on the client service burden and that workload. Again, no costs or expenses for that service model either. The full service model where you do everything, our firm provides essentially the platform and training and compliance and all of that. Here you're doing the asset management as well, so you'll need the Series 65 or one of the exempting designations mentioned earlier. So as a reminder, those are the CFA, CFP, CIC, PFS, or the CHFC. You get an 80% payout of gross advisory fees, no costs or expenses. Let's talk about that a little bit. For those of you who are tax professionals registered with HDVest, payouts start with them at 50% from what I recall, and then they don't get up to 80% payouts until your gross production is over 75,000. I'm going off memory, so perhaps that has changed since I last looked at it. But we give you an 80% payout right from $1. Also, there are no costs or expenses or overrides. So that's really important. For example, when I was a hybrid rep with LPL Financial, my payout was 90%. However, because of the overrides and other fees, here's how that worked out. If I did an advisory account, LPL has admin fees. This is what's called their SAM platform. So those of you with LPL who might be watching this, you'll be familiar with what I'm describing. And on accounts that are 100 to 250,000, we'll just use that as an example, LPL would charge 0.15%, 15 basis points of admin fees prior to the advisory revenue hitting my grid, right? So they would take that 15 basis points right off the top, and then they would take their 10% override. So my net payout on advisory accounts in that bracket of 100 to 250,000 was actually only 79%. And for accounts below 100,000, it was even less because the admin fees LPL takes are 20 basis points, not 15. And then, of course, it gets slightly better at accounts over 250. But this gives you an idea that um, our payout, because it's completely net to the representative, is extremely competitive. Because if you look at the net payout you're getting at a broker-dealer, if you're a registered rep at a broker-dealer, they have all sorts of ancillary fees that reduce your gross payout. So very, very competitive payout on the full service side there. Um, if you're an existing registered rep with a firm, we'll look at your current compensation and we will match or exceed that to make sure that it's worthwhile for you to do business with us. So we can be a bit flexible in how we structure the compensation based on where you're coming from. Of course, if you, as mentioned earlier, if you're coming from HD Vest, it's just quite simply going to be higher right from the get-go. Here's some other benefits of joining Blueprint. As we just discussed, higher payouts. To give you an idea on the service model one, that 40% payout just simply for referring, well, that payout's in excess of what you would get as a registered rep at, say, a bank like Wells Fargo Advisors. I mean, you're talking payouts of 25 to 40% depending on production. So very, very high payout. Edward Jones is payouts of 35 or 40% depending on the product you're selling. Um, so very, very good payouts. No license is necessary to become an IAR of our firm and in a solicitor capacity. No compliance headaches. We're held to the fiduciary standard. We simply can't lie, cheat, or steal. And so long as we are honest and disclose everything, we're meeting our compliance requirements. We also have record keeping requirements and things like that, but we'll handle all of that for you as a firm. Um, no fees to join the firm. I mentioned that there's a slight registration fee, but we refund that back to you if you do business with the firm, so that's nets out as no cost to you. You have the flexible service choices. We looked at those three service models, so you can choose a service model that is spot on, perfect for your firm, and we can customize that a little bit if you have a unique circumstance that needs some particular attention. Um, you have retain access and control of the client items like tax forms. Having access to get those for your clients, having access to what the cost basis is, to a piece of software called the Tax Optimizer, so you can see kind of along the way as the year progresses where we're at in the way of realized gains and losses, and then also unrealized, so we can take advantage of loss harvesting at advantageous times. You have the support of professional asset management by an industry veteran here, 16 years experience that I have, and then with the CFA charter. So you can be very confident that you're referring your clients to an asset manager with the very best of credentials. Coaching and guidance, our firm will partner right along with you in coaching you how to get things done in the most efficient way. If any of you have been doing investments in the past and you kind of do it part-time, I'm sure you have been very frustrated at times trying to transfer client accounts and then things not getting done correctly the first time, and then you have to spend more time correcting those mistakes and getting some assets moved over that didn't come over the first time for some reason. We can help you with our experience getting things done very, very efficiently right from the get-go, the very first time. Just bring us in on what you're trying to do. We'll take a look at it and then guide you right through the process. So it will be headache-free, put it that way. As for costs, we haven't talked about this yet of using the particular custodians we have. This is a tremendous benefit of being affiliated with our RIA rather than someone else. The custodian, Interactive Brokers, is by far the lowest cost custodian in the industry. If you want to examine that a little bit, you can take a look at their website, do a search for Barron's annual studies on the lowest cost, discount brokers, and that Google search will return Barron's study showing you how Interactive is just the least expensive all the time every year. When we bring you on board as a rep and a solicitor, we'll kind of do an onboarding call with you, and then we'll get into more details about why Interactive Brokers is so inexpensive and why we prefer to use them. However, there are certain times you'll have a client that has a particular investment already, or from a diversification or tax standpoint needs a particular investment, then Interactive Brokers does not have unlimited product breadth. But LPL Financial does have that breadth. So with LPL as one of our two custodians, we can get absolutely any investment done. We also have access to LPL's advanced planning department, where you can bring the most sophisticated estate planning cases you have, um, to us as a firm, and we bring LPL's advanced planning department in, and you can be very, very confident they are going to get just nothing but top-notch professionals advising you and me and your client on the best way to plan whatever their case is. So that essentially amounts to help with case design and then presentation support, how to make that understandable for the client. Again, we talked a little bit about marketing support. We're there to help you with that and get creative about it. Most importantly, well, I can't say most importantly, but very importantly, you're going to wonder, well, do I own my advisory book of business? Who owns this? If you're referring the clients to Blueprint Investments and Tax Planning, does Blueprint now own the clients in advisory investment accounts? And the answer is you own that advisory book. It is transferable and assignable. You can sell your interest in um, the business. You can sell that to another solicitor or to another RIA. So you own that. It can be transferred to a beneficiary, and so your spouse could continue to be paid on your advisory book of business should something happen to you. So that's very important, and generally you won't find that elsewhere. So the next steps are we could meet in person or online to discuss your business and how it works, and then your desires for your business. Um, We'll complete an agent questionnaire and then do the rep agreements to bring you on board and have you registered with our firm. So that's a pretty simple process. That's just two forms there. We will train you according to your chosen service model. See what it is you want done, and we'll get you trained up there. And then we partner with you in building your investment advisory business. So if we build your investment advisory business, we also benefit and profit, and we help you have success. We know that if you're successful there, you'll want to do even more investment advisory business. You probably will refer others in your industry and other colleagues you have that you think would benefit by affiliating with our firm. So feel free to share this webinar with any colleagues that you think need to know about this opportunity to go ahead and offer investment advisory services without any costs and without any licensing, and partnering with a top-notch caliber asset manager and an RIA that can just make it very easy for them with these different service models and very, very competitive compensation structures. Um, so if you like this idea and you want to talk further about it, of course, there's never any obligation to do any business with us or affiliate with us or work with us, but I'd love to talk with you more about it. You can schedule an appointment directly on my calendar at that URL right there. So if you'll just write that URL down, plug it in the address bar of your browser, and it will pull up my calendar, and you can book a time, a call, an online meeting, or an in-person meeting right there on my calendar. You can email me directly if you'd like to do it that way. Shoot me an email or call us. Our toll-free number there, ring our office, and we'll get you on the calendar right then and there. Or if I'm free at the moment, maybe we cover some of your questions right then on the phone. All right, so thank you for watching the webinar today. I hope you found this information valuable. I hope it's valuable enough to you to take action and follow up. I look forward to meeting with you and talking with you about your business and your desires for your business and how we can make those desires really come true for you and help you accomplish your goals. All right, thanks again. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.